Morning, we're learning Parshat Tazria, the fifth portion. We will continue our discussion about Tzarat and see how Tzaras can also applies and special laws apply for Tzaras that appears on the head. Starting chapter 13, verse 29. If a man or woman has an affection on the head or in the beard. Rashi, upon the head or upon the beard. Scripture intends to make a difference between a plague which is on a place where hair grows and a plague which is on a place where flesh is. That as regards this, the one that's on the flesh, its symptoms of uncleanness consist of white hair. As regards to the other symptoms, its symptom consists in gold-colored hair. So when it's on the flesh, it's white hair, and others, it's gold hair. 30. The priest shall examine the affection. If it appears to go deeper than the skin, and there is thin yellow hair in it, the priest shall pronounce the person impure. It is a scaly eruption in the hair or beard. Rashi, and it has in it a gold-colored hair. This means that the black hair that was in it has turned into gold color. Nesek. This Nesek is the name of a plague which is on the spot where the hair grows. So the name of this tzarat is called the Nesek. 31. But if the priest finds that the scalp affection does not appear to go deeper than the skin, yet there is no black hair in it, the priest shall isolate the person with the scalp affection for 7 days. Rashi, and there is no black hair in it. Consequently, if there is a black hair in it, he is clean and does not require to be shut up. For black hair is a characteristic of cleanness in case of Nezakim, as it is stated in verse 37. If there is black hair grow up in it, then he is clean. So black hair equals clean in this case. 32. On the seventh day, the priest shall examine the affection. If the scalp is not spread and no yellow hair has appeared in it, and the scalp does not appear to go deeper than the skin. Rashi, behold, the scab is not spread, etc. Consequently, if it spreads or there is in it gold-colored hair, it is unclean. 33. The person with the scalp shall shave, but without shaving the scalp. The priest shall isolate that person for another 7 days. Rashi, his galach, and he shall cut his hair around this scalp. But the scalp itself he shall not cut the hair off. This means that he leaves a row of 2 hairs quite close to it, around it, in order that it may become discernible if it spreads. Or if it spreads, it passes the hair and will extend to the spot where the hair has been cut off. So all the hair around is shaved, and further out it's shaved, right around it's not shaved, and then it's easy to see if it spreads. 34. On the seventh day, the priest shall examine the scalp. If the scalp is not spread in the skin and does not appear to go deeper than the skin, the priest shall pronounce the person pure. After washing those clothes, that person shall be pure. 35. However, the scalp should spread on the skin after the person has been pronounced pure. Rashi, after his being pronounced clean. I have here only the statement that he's unclean if it spreads after he has been freed from the quarantine. But where do I know that the same applies if it has spread by the end of the first week or by the end of the second week? Because it states here, if it spreads at all. So from our verse, we know anytime if it spreads, then it is impure. 36. The priest shall conduct an examination. If the scalp is spread on the skin, the priest need not look for yellow hair. The person is impure. So again, if it spreads, we don't need to look for any other symptoms. That is impure. 37. Ve'im be'inav amad hanesek v'se'ar shachar tzamach bo nirpa hanesek taharhu v'tiaro hakain. But if the scowl has remained unchanged in color, a black hair has grown in it, the scowl is healed, the person is pure. The priest shall pronounce that person pure. And there be a black hair. So where do I know that this applies also to yellow and reddish hair, which also, like black hair here mentioned, are not gold color? So the verse mentions black hair, but how do I know the same thing applies with any other color hair besides for the gold? Because it states vise'ar, and hair without mentioning, and hair that refers to any color. And the expression zahov denotes anything like the appearance of gold. And zahov is equivalent to zahuv, the pale gold in English. Tahar v'tirach is clean and the priest shall pronounce clean. Consequently, a person who is really unclean, whom the priest pronounces clean, is not clean. It has to be clean and be pronounced clean. It is true that the declaration is left to the priest, as pointed out by Rashi earlier on in verse 2. But if he erred or willfully pronounced the unclean person clean, it is of no effect. Scripture states he is clean, and the priest then only shall pronounce him clean. So if he errs, it does not change the person's status. 38. If a man or a woman has the skin of body streaked with white discoloration. Rashi Barot are spots. 39, last verse for today. And the priest sees that the discolorations on the skin of the body are of a dull white. It is a tether broken out of the skin. That person is pure. Rashi kehot levanot, the dull white. It means their whiteness is not intense, but a dull white. Bohak, a brightness, just like the white which shows itself in the flesh of a ruddy man, who is termed rogue in Old French, between his red spots. This is called bohak, brightness, like a man who is covered with lentil-like spots, and between one lentil-like spot and another, the flesh shows bright with pure brightness. So, is brightness that you're able to see between the different spots what his actual skin.